Hey guys, hopefully if you are here and watching this video, then you have brownies that are completely cooled. We are getting ready to make the chocolate ganache. When you do this, you need to do this video and the next video right away, because when we pour the ganache onto our brownies, we want to make sure that it's nice and warm and that it spreads really evenly over top of them. So for this step, you're going to need from your kit the chocolate chips that say chocolate for ganache. You're going to need another small heat-safe bowl. Not going to go in the microwave, but needs to be heat-safe. And then you need a half a cup of whipping or heavy cream. Not half and half, not whole milk. It's got to be the whipping cream or heavy cream. All right, you're going to also need a small pot. You're going to be using the stove for this step, so check with a parent that that's okay. I'm going to put my pot onto my burner, and you want it to be on a medium-low heat. At that point, I'm going to take my cream and I'm going to pour it in. We're just trying to warm the cream. We do not want the cream to boil or start bubbling a lot. While the cream heats up, I'm going to take my chocolate chips, pour them into a heat-safe bowl. And the idea of what we're doing here is we're going to heat the cream up and then we're going to pour it over the chocolate chips. Now, you've got to really watch your whipping cream. So I've got this little rubber spatula, something to stir with. It could be a wooden spoon, whatever you have. And I'm just gently making sure that the milk is moving around, because I can already see it starting to smoke. So cream, when it gets hot, can do something called scalding if you're not careful. And basically that's a fancy way to say it's burned. What you're looking for is for this to boil around these edges, but you don't want it to be like big bubbles like when you're bubbling water for spaghetti. So just keep stirring. Don't take your eyes off of it. It can go from perfect to burnt really fast. I'm seeing a lot of smoke coming out of mine, but what I'm looking for is little bubbles coming up around the edges. Don't stop stirring for a long time. Okay. Now, we're trying to get the cream warm enough that when we pour it on top of our chocolate chips, it's going to soften them, and then we stir everything together to make a really nice ganache. All right. So what ganache is equal parts cream and chocolate. So if you wanted to make this with 1 cup of chocolate chips, 1 cup of cream, that would be fine, however you want to do it. I am getting the little bubbles all over mine. I'm going to take it off the heat right away, right when you see tiny little bubbles coming up, and I'm going to pour it on top of my chocolate. I'm going to take this hot pan and stick it in the sink. And then you obviously want to make sure that your burner is off, so turn your burner off. This has to sit for exactly 3 minutes. So what I want you to do is pause the video, set a timer for probably 2 minutes and 40 seconds at this point, and then I want you to come back to this video. Just push play. I'll see you guys in just a minute. Okay guys, hopefully it's been exactly 3 minutes. I took a little time to clean up, but now what we're going to do is take our rubber spatula, and we have had this warm cream sitting on top of our chocolate chips, and when chocolate chips get warm, they melt. So we're going to take our spatula and you're going to gently start stirring the cream and the chocolate together. At first, it's going to look like chocolate milk, but as those chocolate chips melt all the way down, it's going to start turning into something that looks more like a fudgy chocolate. Now, you're going for a consistency that's like a glaze that you could pour onto something. If it is more like a frosting where you would have to spread it, then you need to add a tiny bit more cream. And when you add that cream, you definitely want it to be overheat. So if you're doing this and you're noticing, whoa, mine doesn't look like I could kind of drip it onto a brownie, it seems more like frosting, you need to take the whole thing, pour it into the pan, and add like a teaspoon more of the heavy whipping cream and stir. But hopefully, since everything was pre-measured, everything will be all good. So as you stir and stir, you're going to notice it gets thicker and thicker because those chocolate chips are melting, and this is called chocolate ganache. And we're going to use it in the next step to pour onto our brownies. All right, mine's getting nice and thick. You want to make sure that there's no big chunks in your ganache. And it should be, like I said, you should be able to pick it up with a spoon and drizzle it. It shouldn't be super watery, but it also shouldn't be thick. If you'd have to take a knife and spread it, it's too thick. I think mine looks pretty perfect. What I want you to do is right now, go to the next video, and I want you to watch the next video because we need to get this ganache onto our brownies before it cools off. As ganache sits, it turns into the frosting-like texture. If that happens to you, not a huge deal, you'll have frosting on your brownies, but this ganache is so pretty when you pour it on and it goes nice and smooth. I'll see you guys right now in the next video.